June 29th, 2023. On June 29th, 2023, we acknowledge the sacred land in which Smiths Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years, and its rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order we might meet here today. We're also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smiths Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, being mindful of generations to come. So I want to take a moment and give my gratitude to the service and I guess on behalf of the community for Pride Month. And it was great to see great representation from our police service, the crosswalk unveiling, great involvement in helping lead the parades for our community. And then I was at the gala on the weekend, and I had a queer individual from our community come up and want to talk to me about the police service. And he wanted to talk about how grateful he is for the support how grateful she is for the support she has received through some difficult occurrences, and some great leadership from our police service, wearing, I guess, the pride flag on your chest with the police logo. Just very encouraging, and the feedback from this individual was how grateful she was for having the support, for having officers who were so deeply understanding and dealt with situations, diffused them appropriately. So it was very great gratitude to our police service and the approach they bring to supporting all members of our community.
Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Any additions to the agenda?
I just have a couple of comments, if I can add into your remarks,
Sure.
Mr. Chair. Just a couple of announcements, really. One, just with regards to our Special Olympics and our torch run activities. I know the deputy will be touching on it, but I just wanted to express my appreciation, certainly to all our staff and to everyone that was involved, and to the community as well, for the involvement in our Special Olympics events, our torch run, our tolls that generated, I believe, upwards of $17,000 for Special Olympics. So it was a great set of events, and I just wanted to express my thanks to everyone involved in that. And then I just one other that I wanted to add on was the upcoming, the end of July and first part of August is the World Police Fire Games that are being hosted in Canada this year in Winnipeg, and I'm very proud to say we have three members that are going to be participating in that, led by our own Deputy Chief Jody Empey in the pool for swimming, and Tyler Brett in jiu-jitsu. This will be his first games. Although he is very competitive in the martial arts field of jiu-jitsu, he's going to participate in the World Police Fire Games, and I'm sure he'll be very successful there. And Sergeant Brent Pellet, who's a veteran of the games as well, and he's going to be doing in a couple of the running events. And as we know, our own deputy with swimming, and both Brent and Jody have been very successful in past games in Ireland, New York, and LA. As far as coming home with lots of medals, so we wish them all the success. It's a lot of training, a lot of time that goes into getting ready to go to those games, and certainly nice to have them representing our small service in our community.
Awesome. Of course, we wish them best of luck. We look forward to hearing the stories when you return, Deputy Chief and all. Okay. Any declaration of interest?
Just sorry, Chair.
Okay.
For the additions, I wanted to actually remove item 5C, an in camera. I'm just going to remove that one item, so we'll just have A, B, and D. Okay.
Ask for approval of the agenda. Moved by Jan, seconded by Chris. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. So declaration of interest. We see none. So motion to move in camera. Moved by Rob, seconded by Chris. All in favor? Okay, we're going to move in camera now. That the Smith Falls Police Service Board move in camera to discuss items pertaining to intimate financial or personal matters or other matters that may be disclosed of such a nature having regard to the circumstances, the desirability of avoiding their disclosure in the interest of any person affected or in the public interest outweighs the desirability of adhering to the principle of proceedings be open to the public in accordance with section 35(4)B of the Police Services Act. Okay, let's move in camera. I believe we're back live. Just wanted to do a rising report from the in-camera session. We had a discussion regarding identifiable individuals, human resources, and staffing. We did defer the item in-camera minutes to be reviewed again next meeting, and we had a discussion regarding identifiable individual contractual. So moving forward with our agenda, correspondence donation for Lander County Interval House. Chief. Oh, Chief, you're on mute still. Sorry.
Sorry about that. If everyone had a chance to see the request from Lanark County Interval House with regards to donation, it's moved then to 9A for discussion and action.
Yeah, thank you. My mistake there. Consideration of minutes from the previous meeting, May 25th. Look for approval of minutes. Moved by Chris, second by Jen. All in favor? Thank you. This is arising from the previous meeting, the 2022 budget update. Chief.
So I don't have really much of an update. I was advised, and I believe Council and Chair, you might be able to advise, but I think there may not be a final budget until September, an audited budget till September. I believe it's been pushed to now.
I believe it's been pushed back. I'm not sure if September or when, but either way, like, it's not much to discuss on that today then.
Yeah, I'm not sure what seems very late this year for a lot of items budget wise. So I'm just not sure what's going on, but unfortunate that we just don't have a budget for the board a police budget for the board to approve yet at this time, and it'll likely be after the summer and into September.
Yeah. And 23 budget update. 23
budget, and again, I'm still relying on the assist program to review many of the operational lines of the budget. We're still not receiving budget monitors, which is unfortunate and difficult sometimes. I'm hoping that we'll start to get budget monitors. Those are extremely helpful. Obviously, using the assist program, I don't go into every single operational line, so there are things that sometimes we don't see or that get missed, and sometimes it's in looking into or allocating an item to a budget line that you find out that something else has been improperly allocated or needs to be moved, or so some difficulties there. I'm hoping that we can work through, because the monthly budget monitors, I think, are extremely important to the board, and I would imagine to council as well to have a look at these. So I'll continue to make some inquiries and see where we can if we can start getting some budget monitors that the board has a little bit more of a visual in front of them to see some of the, all of the operational lines and where we are with variances. So, but I am happy to say that as far as all our major operational lines, things are good. There have been some issues that we have had to have some things reallocated that are not in the right spots, so to speak, but all in all, everything is good budget wise for 2023 so far.
Okay, thank you. Moving forward to new business, so back to the donation for Lander County Interval House.
Just on that, I know a couple of years ago the board had decided, because sometimes we get a couple of different they have a couple of different campaigns and some different so we had the board had agreed, and I thought I had the amount in front of me. I think
$1,000.
I was just going to say I'm almost positive it's $1,000 that the board donates annually to Interval House, and that just sort of covers off, as opposed to trying to split it up here and there and different. I think it makes it easier for the board. And it's certainly appreciated by Lanark County Interval House, and they are a valuable partner to us. So I would certainly recommend continuing forward with that and making that donation, that annual donation to Lanark County Interval House. And I'll leave it to the board to decide.
Sure. Discussion, any questions or comments? I certainly support the recommendation. We know what an important role they play in our community. Look for a motion to support $1,000 donation to Center County Liberal House. Moved by Jen, seconded by Chris. All in favor? That's approved. Thank you. Future PSB meetings. Well, council returned in person 2 weeks ago. I guess, well, a little over a week ago. We got 2 meetings in person. There are new council chambers are set up for hybrid meetings, so we can still participate. Those who want to participate in person, we can utilize that space and still participate virtually if needed. Any further comments, Chief, on that?
No, I just echoing your comments, Mr. Chair, that the council seems to be going well. The idea of the hybrid, I believe, and I'll verify, but I believe we had incorporated during COVID. We had changed our procedures with regards to meetings to include virtual when we moved virtual, and we did include at that time the option of hybrid, and that was back, if you recall, when we were sort of sometimes the legislation would allow us to be in person to certain group numbers and sizes, and but we did include the hybrid, knowing that at some point in time in the future that may well be. So I think we're okay policy wise. And I certainly look forward to. I think it provides and the new council chambers is well set up for the hybrid. I've spoke to the clerk at the town as well, and no issue there as far as booking our meetings in advance using the council chambers and all of the IT resources there to continue live streaming, having a hybrid model, but also having a gallery open for the public then as well, and the accessibility as well. So I think that's the logical option would be to move there, and I would suggest for the next meeting in July.
Questions or comments? No, I just see nodding heads, so wonderful. And having been back in person for council, it's a different dynamic than being on screens as we have for the last few years. So we look forward to that in July, and of course, say we'll be hybrid. So if there's times when people are unavailable and perhaps having to tune in from their vehicle, they can still participate fully as a member of the board. So we'll plan for that for July.
Perfect. It'll be nice to get away from the Hollywood squares.
Yes, thank you. Item C, ministry audit.
So that's if you recall back, our ministry always had audits, and they usually went in cycles every few years. And the ministry would go around the province to police services, speak to boards and chiefs and deputies with regards to, and they would identify 3 or 4 areas or specific policies that they wanted to review. What the policies are. There's a ministry standard for policies that we follow to ensure that we're meeting adequacy and effectiveness. So they go around and basically do a spot audit, and they pick 3 or 4 areas, and they'll come and make sure that our policies meet the provincial ministry standards. And then they'll dive in a little deeper to ensure that we're practicing what we preach, if you will, in the policies, and that we're actually doing those things. As an example, if you recall the last one of the last policies that was looked at was our missing persons and policy, and those and our care and control of prisoners. So they go in and then they look at things like occurrences that we've taken, and making sure that we've done everything that we're supposed to do by provincial standard with regards to those types of occurrences, or dealing with prisoners in our care, that we're meeting all the provincial mandates. They review the policies, they review what we're doing in actual, and then they provide a report to the chief, the deputy, and the board as well. this it's now the ministry is sort of separated a little bit, sort of become a little bit more independent arm. It's the Inspectorate of Policing, that's a branch of the Solicitor General's ministry, that will be doing the audit. It'll be through sort of the end of 2023 and into 2024. In this case, they are looking at agreements that we have with regards to public order units. The chief's annual report is one area they're going to be looking at. They're going to be looking at our policies and procedures with regards to investigations and public complaints, and as well as our major case management. So how we're dealing with major cases under the provincial standards. So those are the four areas they're going to be looking at. They did, the inspectorate, I believe, had some representation at the last zone meeting for the OAPSB, and I know they've been to some of our meetings as well to introduce themselves, because they are relatively new. And it is new to get back into the inspection cycle, if you will. So I have reached out to our ministry representative, our advisor, Graham Witt. He's going to be present at our next meeting in July, and he hopefully will have some representation from the Inspectorate of Policing as well. They'll be able to introduce themselves and provide a little bit of a background on what they do, how they do it, and they're not just an inspectorate to govern, or they're more of an advisory body. So they're there certainly to advise and assist police services in making sure that we meet adequacy and effectiveness. So certainly it doesn't mean we have to wait for inspections. If we have questions about policies or how we're doing things, they're a good resource as well. So hopefully in July we'll have both our ministry advisor and as well as representation from the Inspectorate of Policing that will attend our meeting and be able to give you a little bit of an overview of what they do and the resource that they have available to them. So if there's any questions to that.
Thank you. Questions or comments? So, Chief, that process, as you mentioned, will start later this year, and then the board would receive a report, I assume, sometime next year, I guess, or.
Yeah, they'll provide a little bit more. The initial letter from the ministry was just sort of giving an overview of the four areas that they're going to be looking at. They are going to be meeting with the deputy with regards to major case management later in July, and so that's part of the process as well. I would imagine some of the other areas for this audit, just given the areas that they're doing, are going to be really just looking at our policies. One area that I indicated as the annual report, they'll look at the annual report. Obviously there's certain things that have to be put into the chief's annual report every year, and so it's so that will be probably more of an inspection of the report, or maybe the last number of reports, just to make sure that we're meeting the legislation requirements as to what we report that gets released to the public and that's available to the public. So that's so that they'll do that on their own sort of time frame. They'll notify us. We'll provide them with any documents that they need, meet with them whenever they require. They'll probably meet with the board as well at some point in time during that, and then they will provide a report with sort of any findings, any advice, any suggestions as far as changing policies or adding to our policies or anything, or just giving us sort of a green light that everything is good. So there isn't really a set schedule. They've just indicated 23, 24. So I think it's just going to be an ongoing process, and they'll provide feedback as they go along, and certainly we'll make sure that the board is kept up to speed on where they're at with that inspection.
Thank you. Anything further? Okay, moving ahead with our agenda, our manager's report, Deputy Chief Empey.
You're on mute.
We'll try and share a screen, I believe.
Okay, can everybody see that?
Not yet.
Oh. Down there.
I'm just asking our live stream to just make sure that you should have permission to do that.
Yeah, okay. Because I've done what I'm shared my
Yep.
screen.
He's indicated you should be able to share that.
Okay. Okay, how's that?
There we go.
Okay, perfect. So we celebrated Staff Sergeant Blanchard's retirement. During the month of May, we responded to 769 calls for service. Uniform patrol was traffic enforcement complaints, calls, step target. We had 23 reported collisions, 31 complaints, 76 vehicles stopped, 32 charges related to those vehicle stops. And in total, under the Highway Traffic Act of Ontario, there was 43 charges laid and 5 charges under the Compulsory Automobile Insurance Act. We had 4 fail to remain at the scene of an accident. So this is to do with our alcohol, drugs, criminal related offenses from vehicle stops, 2 impaired operation, 2 dangerous operation of a motor vehicle, 1 flight from police, 1 refusal to provide a breath sample, 1 exceeding over 80 milligrams of alcohol, and 1 resisting arrest. Our step target for the month of May was aggressive driving, and as a result, 21 charges were laid in that step target. Officers were looking for intersection safety, speeding, failing to yield, failing to stop for stop signs, and others. And for the month of June, the step target will be vehicle and equipment safety. We had 20 hours of foot patrol, 19 hours of bike patrol, 25 hours of community service, and 10 hours of school visits. Some noteworthy calls for service: we had 7 assaults, 2 break and enters, 12 bail violations, 18 intimate partner violence calls, and 56 mental health related calls, with a 4% apprehension rate and a 34-minute average wait time at the hospital. Our criminal investigative branch, CISO, they're working full-time with OPP on the missing person file. That's the Bertram file. Conducted drug investigations. There was a fire at the old water treatment plant. We did some FinTrack training, attended a police funeral, some association meetings, use of force training as well. Our community service officer was obviously busy in May. It was police week. He also did some lockdown drills at the area schools, fraud presentation at SFDCI, internet safety, bullying and harassment presentation at St. Francis, theft presentation, case conference regarding student intimate images that were being distributed, Chimo school visit. He distributed hate crime brochures and did the same thing at Duncan J School. Meeting with Situation Table, Anti-Hoarding, Justice Meeting for Youth, Crime Stoppers Meeting, MCERT Team Meeting, Youth at Risk. Did a Your TV interview. Hanley Hall Health Services, he did a lunch there and did some serving. Did a visit to the food bank, participated in McHappy Day. He also attended the police officer's funeral. He worked with the town on a SEPTED engagement, which is crime prevention through environmental design, and giving some pointers in town. Child and youth collaborative meeting, Crime Stoppers meeting. He also covered some shifts on the road, helped organize the bike rodeo with the Kinsman Club. And then our police week was May 14th and 20th, as you were aware. We did the Special Olympic barbecue, coffee with a cop at Starbucks, community partner barbecue, your TV interview, and the bike rodeo. So here's some pictures from our barbecue with the Special Olympics. We did this in our back lot. They love it, and we love it too. Our community partners barbecue was well received. We had representatives from MCERT, from Victim Services, from R&J Youth Services. We had teachers, we had principals, we had town staff, and one of the teachers was able to bring a couple of kids down, and they had a tour of the police station. So luckily it didn't rain. McHappy Day, Coffee with a Cop, and Smile Cookie Day. I didn't submit a picture of myself, but helped out with that as well. The Kinsmen Club do an excellent job with the police on our bike rodeo. It's well received. I don't know if anyone brought kids or saw, but they, as you see in one of the pictures, they do the routes at the outdoor rink at the Jerry Lowe rink. And they check the bikes, they look at their helmets, and they give the kids pointers on bicycle safety. So it's an excellent rodeo that we do in conjunction with the Kinsmen Club. So we're very appreciative of their help and support. And of course, as the chief mentions, our 2 recruits are off to OPC, doing very well. I attended the mosaic unveiling for Lanark County Interval House. It's absolutely beautiful. I look forward to seeing it all done there beside Town Hall at Town Square. I attended a sexual assault domestic violence meeting, a CISO meeting, Smile Cookie. We did C8 training, and then I had officers on a crime investigative course and an officer on an IDENT conference as well. And that is it for my report.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Seeing none. The only comment I want to make, just Deputy Chief, your involvement with the unveiling of the mosaic, you spoke from the heart. You spoke to your and the services commitment to victims of domestic violence in town, and help, I guess, reinforce your commitment to Lanark County Interval House, and of course to the victims in our community, and the work we can do to try and help prevent that. So you did a great job. Thank you there.
Thank you.
Okay, if nothing further, we'll move on to our date and time for our next meeting. Deputy Chief?
Just looking at the last week of July, I am going to be away, as I advised the board, for a few weeks, and so it would be the end of July. And I apologize, I gotta grab my calendar here, but it would be 7. Looking at somewhere around the 27th of July.
How does that work for board members? That's good. Okay. We'll proceed with 8:30 a.m. on the 27th of July. Perfect.
I will let the clerk know so that we can reserve the council chambers and have our first in-person meeting.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Motion for adjournment. Moved by Rob, second by Chris. All in favor. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.